Hey book besties, and welcome back to my channel. This video will be going over my reading and reactions to the second book in an Ember in the Ashes series. I'm going through this series in preparation of jumping into air. As you can see, I went a little bit crazy with the tabs, but can you really blame me? This series is 5 stars. I already know it's going to be. I'm only 2 books in, but I know the rest aren't gonna let me down because this has been such an enjoyable ride thus far. Let's get right into it. Officially starting the second book, and I am actually reading Before the Sun Has Set for the first time this week. I don't think Jenny has started the second book. I know Stephanie is at least at the 5th chapter. She said she was waiting for me. I don't know how much I believe that, which is fair because I wait for no one majority of the time. We have a new map. It's gonna be probably hard to see on camera, but new map means new places. I'm excited. I have a feeling some people are gonna die. Did I fall asleep, take a nap, eat a salad, and spend an hour scrolling through TikTok instead of reading? Yes. Yes, I did. Now that I am done being irresponsible, I'm gonna return to the series that I am loving, by the way. I am only to chapter 3, so I didn't get very far before I wandered off. But they're going through the caves and they're trying to escape, and there is a Efrit. I'm gonna look up how to pronounce this because I don't want to offend anyone about anything. Ifrit. I think that's how you say it. Google corrects it to a different spelling. The book says E-F-R-I-T and Google says I-F-R-I-T. I'm gonna say Ifrit because that's what pronunciation thing tells me to say. If I'm saying it wrong, please correct me. The last thing I want to do is pronounce anything wrong. I feel really bad that I was pronouncing Elia's name wrong in the first book for a little bit. Sorry. Now I'm looking up everyone's name. That doesn't seem super obvious to me. Should probably still look them up even if I think I know what they are because I've been wrong before. My name's Rochelle and I will probably forever be Rachel. I get people pronouncing your name wrong. I don't get that upset over it because I accepted my fate, but I don't want to offend anyone or anyone's culture or an author or fans. I want to say it correctly. I want to research these things. I am hoping that it goes into detail and explains them a little bit more, like the ghouls and the Ifrits, jinns. I looked them up on my own, but what it was saying, what an Ifrit was, does, and looks is different than the vibe I got from the second chapter. I got creepy ghost girl, and the pictures on Google are vastly different. Hopefully she explains it. If not, I will be doing some more researching when they pop up again. Everyone is finally on the same page, not literally, but we are all reading this book tonight, and we'll see how far we get so we can chat. My boyfriend gets home soon. He's probably gonna steal me from reading. Maybe I can sneak away. I'll tell him to go play in the garage. I just finished chapter 5. I chatted with Stephanie for a little bit. Jenny is catching up. We get a Helene point of view now. I'm so excited. It's nice to get her point of view because she's over here and they're over here. Interesting things have happened. His mother let them go. I am confused. Is she evil? Is she not? Does she have a master plan? What the F is going on? And then Helene's dad showed up after she was getting interrogated to say that he made a deal with Marcus. And his words, it's just influence. And she's like, not adding up though. I don't think that's all you gave him. And he said, don't worry about it. But he did say, you are my daughter. I would have given him the skin off my back if he asked it of me. Lean on me now, girl. I wonder what it's like to have a dad. Must be cool. Can't relate. Somewhat matching the cover today with my hot mulligan sweater. If you know, you know. I'm in the middle of chapter 11. I am the furthest one in the book right now. So I don't really have updates from literally anyone. I'm waiting for them to update me for once so I can see their thoughts and opinions. Jenny just told me that she forgot that this one is her favorite out of the whole series. So now I'm even more excited and I need to read more. I didn't want to put this down last night, but I was so tired. I got to this point and I had to call it a day or night. Also, you may notice I put a lot more ivy up last night. It was looking a little bare. I still haven't even come close to deciding what wallpaper I'm putting. We're still dealing with the ugly remnants of what was this closet. Since I have no updates from them, I can go ahead and update myself. It turns out that she let him go not out of the pureness of her heart, but because in her mind, he's already dead. One of the throwing stars nicked him and it was poisoned. I'm guessing she didn't use enough from context clues I have gotten through this. While he is going through these seizures from the poison, he's going in and out and he's staying out longer. He happened across some of his friends that are no longer alive and they were like, oh, did you meet the soul catcher? And he's like, huh, what? Turns out the soul catcher is kind of like the spirit guide. He was going through the poisons that he thinks it could be, and the one that he thinks it is, there is no cure. You have seizures for 3 to 6 months and then you die. And he has yet to tell Laia that that's what he thinks his mother used. Update from Helene. She was told by Marcus that she needs to go hunt after Elias, bring him back, and he wants her to execute him herself. In his terms, I want you to be the one who kills him. I want you to watch the light die in his eyes. I want him to know it's the person he cares for most in the world who shoved a blade through his heart, and I want it to haunt you for all of your days. Because he is a giant piece of, yeah. While Helene was over listening on a conversation with the commandant, she discovered that one of the things she heard was, if the cook offends you, you can kill her yourself. The voice responded, I have limitations, Karis. She is your creation. See to it. And now I'm starting to think I was right. I think that the commandant created her and that is the spy, because obviously a motherly figure, you're not gonna feel like that's who's betraying you. And then when Laia came back and she was hugging her and they were like sad, I was like, no, it can't be her. But then I read that line and I was like, that's literally the only thing that could make sense. After Helene walks in and the commandant's like, oh my god, you're spying, she's like, I really hate to say this, but I outrank you. I know she got a little bit of pleasure out of that. The thing that she is speaking to calls himself the Reaper, and in his words, I'm the Reaper girl and I go to collect what is mine. And that is such a badass statement. I love that. Moving on. He also told her, you've been gifted a healing power. The Ifrits woke it, I smell it, the blue and white of winter, the green of first spring. So he snitched on her for her singing healing abilities right in front of the commandant. So that's great. Elias still hasn't told Laia what poison he thinks his mother used. He's pretty much toast, done, out completely. And she's going to try and get some of the medication, well, the antidote. She's going into this village that's full of murderers and thieves and just, you know, society's outcast. And he's telling her, like, don't go, I'm gonna go. Meanwhile, this man can't even stay lucid for an hour. He's having seizures, passing out, repeat. So she's like, okay, well, I'll just go. While she goes in there, obviously the shopkeeper ratted her out because bounty hunters cornered her and then forced her to take them to where Elias is kept. Something interesting happened though. While she was trying to escape them, she hid under furs and she kept saying, they can't see me, they can't see me. She said that he was staring right at her and he didn't see her. So now I'm starting to wonder if her power is invisibility and then Helene's power is healing. And now I'm wondering, what's Elias's power gonna be? They did escape. They did take out the bounty hunters. I think they're good to go from here on out. They did make it a little further in their trek and there was a spring. He told her to go wash up. She was a little embarrassed. And while they were there, arrows started being shot at them. It turns out that it's Keenan. Happy that Keenan's alive, but now this is gonna be really awkward because you have two love interests together. The other interesting thing, while Helene was out looking for Elias and following all these tips, she came upon something that was whispering to her out in the wilderness. Once it turned its face and she could see, she realized that it was who they would call Cook. Nothing else further has been revealed, but that's messed up. I was hoping she was good. Had a feeling, probably not. And here we are. I left off on page 114. It's been a hot minute since I've read. Everyone else is officially quite further than me, but I will be doing my best to catch up tonight. I need to probably read about 100 pages. I don't know if I'll be able to accomplish that tonight, but we're settled in. The candles are lit. We have the ambient lighting, and again, leftover coffee from this morning because I can't finish anything to save my life. I traded in my coffee for some tea because every time a book mentions tea, I crave it, I have to get it, I have to go make it. There's not a question about it. I've also gotten much further. I'm on page 191. I'm a little bit before part 2, maybe like 12 pages away, which I am gonna try and get to tonight as long as I can stay up. As for updates, Stephanie had guessed that Helene's father had promised her hand in marriage to spare her life, and she was close. Instead, he promised one of the sisters hand in marriage. Thankfully, it wasn't the sweet youngest one, but I don't know if this is any better because the sister that is being wed off seems evil. She seems like what I thought Helene was going to end up being like. I'm still curious why Helene is following the orders to go track down and murder her childhood best friend. I know deep down in there she knows that it's wrong, so why she's doing it? Like, me personally, I'd be like faking it. Like, oh, I'm pretty sure he went south, and I'd go waste some time over there. It'd probably get me killed. But you know what? I couldn't kill my childhood best friend that's done nothing but be nice to me. They eventually made it to, I believe it's like Nor. I looked up the pronunciation and I'm not perfect at it, but they made it there, and he traded in his coin from the first book to the lady that owed him a favor after the dance, and she's like, actually no. And he's like, oh well, if you're not gonna do it, then I'm gonna go tell your whole tribe that you have no honor and don't keep to your promises, and when you owe a favor, you can't turn it down. They can only ask for what they can say in one breath, and that man said a lot in one breath. Eventually she agreed, but she's like, I'm gonna need some help. Of course, being slightly slimy, she roped in his adoptive mother, and of course she's being tailed. Thankfully, nothing happened during her interrogation, but she did kind of let slip to Helene that he is in fact there. So she says, I can't help you escape unless her tribe help, which therefore puts his adoptive mother's tribe in danger. Nonetheless, everyone agrees to the plan, and his adoptive mother starts telling a story of the life of Elias. It seemed really, really sad. The whole purpose was to create a riot, and under the guise of the riot, they are to escape. But of course he sees Helene, and she is being almost trampled. He saves her again, and before he leaves, he says, I don't want to hurt you. I'm so sick of hurting people. They're kind of talking back and forth to each other with just their eyes, which after 14 years of friendship, you will definitely be able to do. And he says, I'm going to let go of you. If you try to take me down, so be it. But before I do, I want to say something because we both know I'm not long for this world, and I hate myself if I never told you. I miss you. I hope she hears what I'm truly saying. I love you. I'm sorry. I wish I could fix it. I'll always miss you, even when I'm a ghost. And I was listening to a fantasy ambiance playlist, and the perfect song was playing. I didn't look down and look at the name, but I was gonna cry. I don't even think it was that sad, because obviously they're gonna see each other again. We have this much book left. As they were leaving, he saw that the marshals had his tribe surrounded, and they lit them on fire. And there was a very sweet memory that is playing in his head while he's watching them burn. He's saying, I want to go back, I want to go back. And she said, you traded in your favor, and this was the price. And those words hit hard. I know he feels guilty, but I don't think his adoptive mother would have done anything different. Good moms put you first, even if it means the death of them. I don't know if she's dead. I'm really hoping not. And she has this moment with Keenan, and it's making me like him so much. We're finally getting to see more of him, so I'm seeing more of his personality. And he is telling her, don't feel bad. Family is worth dying for, killing for, fighting for them is all that keeps us going when everything else is gone. He's very comforting. He's very kind. I still don't know who I prefer because I'm like, oh, okay, that's really sweet. He's been super genuine. The looks of it, they could be together more easier than Elias, but you know, Elias and her have the forbidden love, and that's always more attractive. And then right after that sweet moment with Keenan, she goes and talks to Elias. He puts his forehead to her forehead. He says something really sweet. He tells her, don't forget it, in response to the conversation that they had. Now I can't make a decision on who I prefer. And that's not a bad thing, because why choose? I'm just kidding. This book is not going to be a why choose. I can pretty much bet on that. I have about 20 more pages. A lot could happen in that time, so we'll see. I just got to part 2. Harper is aware that Helene had Elias and let him go, but he doesn't seem angry about it. Now she just got word that she needs to go return to Antioch, I believe is how you say it, because all of the families are at war with each other. Hopefully I can get through more tomorrow, because I would love to finish this book by the end of the week, if not sooner, but this is also a busy week. It's only Monday. It's officially not 100 degrees outside, so I figured what a better time to read this before the sun sets. I'm out here with my dogs, so hopefully they don't knock over this camera because the puppy is insane. I am behind Jenny, but in front of Stephanie. I'm gonna keep reading because Stephanie will catch up pretty quickly, and I'm curious to see what part Jenny's at. And also, I need to figure out what's going on because I hate being left on a cliffhanger. Couple key things have happened. They discovered that Elias had left on his own since he decided he would be faster by himself. Obviously, Laya is not happy about that. During his path there, the soul catcher stops him and brings him into her world, which I guess is still part of their world, and she says, you need to help your friend pass on because he's upsetting the other spirits. And something just totally weird happens. It's like a very weird scene. I don't even know how to describe it. And she's like, oh, you shouldn't have seen that. And she admits that she is there because she's being punished for something, and he realizes that she's a djinn. And now I'm starting to wonder if she's the reason they're all trapped and not the other one in the earlier book that they said is the only one to survive, because obviously he's not if she's kind of alive. I'm starting to think that Helene can probably sing him to health since that's one of her traits. I just got to the part where they are searching the wagons and they discover them. Obviously a fight broke out and it appears Izzy didn't make it, which just seems so off the wall and crazy that she made it through the commandant for how many years and then this random attack takes her out. As far as I'm aware, she is dead, but I'm hoping that since Elias can go to both sides, maybe he can do something to bring her back. I'm just not accepting that she's gone. And I can't quite cry because there's no way. Like, kill off somebody else. But she was just falling in love with the tribesman, and after everything she's gone through, I don't know. I texted Jenny. I said that I can't believe it, and she said that she's too good for that to happen. Are you crying? I cried. And I said, I'm in shock right now. I can't even cry. She said, like, it can't be real. And I said, there's no way. And it's been a while since he's visited the other side, so he needs to head on over and say what's up to her. And Stephanie finally caught up, and she doesn't like Keenan. She wants her with Elias, but we both agree that it's needed for the drama. We both think Harper isn't as bad as the author is portraying him, or like wants you to think he is, because there's been so many times that he could have like messed over Helene and he hasn't. She hasn't got to the Izzy part yet. I can't wait to see her reaction. He just got to the jail, found a jailer, and said, hey, have you seen this guy describes Darren because the warden wants him transferred. And he said, oh, well, that's weird because he's dead. And I'm really hoping that's not true because it hasn't even been 100 pages. If we keep killing at this pace, who's going to be left at the end of the 4 books? You guys probably know. I don't know. And then as he's about to leave, guess who walks in? Oh yeah, the warden. Elias, I've been waiting for you. So now I have to keep reading. We just got to the part where the title of the book is said. In the first book, he called Elias an ember in the ashes. In this book, Cain said to Helene, most people are nothing but glimmers in the great darkness of time, but you, Helene Aquila, are no swift burning spark. You are a torch against the night if you dare to let yourself burn. And I like this one even better than the first naming. I don't know why she went to go seek the augurs, but she's like, just tell me he survives. I don't want to have to kill him. I don't want to have to choose between my family and the man she loves. He doesn't answer the question, of course, but he asks her a question as in, how is a mask made? She gives all these answers and he says, wrong. It's a trick question. A mask is not made, she is remade. First she is destroyed, stripped down to the trembling child that lives at her core. Doesn't matter how strong she thinks she is. Blackcliff diminishes, humiliates, and humbles her. But if she survives, she is reborn. She rises from the shadow world of failure and despair so that she might become as fearful as that which destroyed her, so that she might know darkness and use it as her shim and shield in her mission to serve the Empire. And he's saying, like, I'm remaking you. I remade you. I don't know what's going on, to be honest. I thought Cain would give some answers, fix some things. I don't know. I'm stressed out. Oh, turn the page. You seek assurances, the augur says. I can offer you none. Clearly. Yeah, it's not looking good. He gave an answer without giving an answer, and the answer seems like he's telling her you need to kill him. This book is stressing me out. Keenan and Laya have broken off from everyone. They're traveling on their own now. The warden has gotten his hands on Elias and plans to learn from him, aka torture him. Helene sent out a message to secretly get Cook to meet with her, which she did. They had an exchange of Cook had this really disgusting wound, no offense, and she said, okay, if you heal me, I'll tell you what Elias is doing. Helene healed her, which is freaking me out because we all know by now that the Cook and Commandant have some sort of connection. Don't know what, but she was called the Commandant's creation, so stuttering still hasn't been explained. She healed her, and she told her, well, Elias is going that way because he is with Laya and wants to break out Darren. So secret, not secret, is out of the box. So far, Keenan and Laya are safe. There was this really good moment between them. Laya is feeling really guilty and sad about Izzy, and he comforts her, and it's so sweet. And the way he just holds her, I feel like she feels safe with him. Like she's upset, and he says, tell me something nice about her. I always feel like he's trying to redirect her attention in a different place. Where when she goes negative, he tries to bring her back to positive. If she's going dark, he tries to show her the light. I feel like he tries to keep her going and happy, and she's just surrounded by nothing but death, and that's really hard. And after he asks her, tell me something good about her, what she says is just so heartbreaking. She looked up and said, the stars are so different when you're free. After running all day, eating hardly anything, and being so tired she couldn't take another step, she fell asleep smiling at the sky. And if that doesn't break your heart, maybe you don't have one. Keenan tells Laya, let yourself feel these things. It's not your fault. Don't try and forget them. You loved them. They meant something. Basically, don't lock yourself away. But then after all that, they hook up. And that's where I left off because I can't decide who I like more. And I feel like I prefer Elias. I see the positives with Keenan. And I just wish she didn't sleep with Keenan. I feel like that might turn around and bite her in the butt later. I think Elias would be understanding because he just seems like a very understanding guy, but not that she's dating him or owes him anything, but I feel like this man has saved you, risked his life on multiple occasions, is currently risking his life for your brother, has continuously put you first, even if he hasn't been that smart about it, like self-sacrificial at this point. He will put himself in the line of danger to save her. That's not always the best thing. It's heroic, but it's not always the best thing. I don't think she's taking it for granted, but I don't know. I feel like that might hurt him because it hurt me, and I'm not Elias. And these are characters, and I'm getting too invested. The little boy that Elias meets in the prison, I feel so bad. I hope nothing happens to him. I'm already attached. And the fact that they use him to get to him and they're sending him in to clean his wounds, I have a feeling something bad's gonna happen to him. And then we have Laya having a conversation with Keenan about feeling guilty that they hooked up in the middle of death everywhere. And of course he's like, oh, don't feel guilty, which is good. He seemed comforting. One part I really liked is he said, give me your guilt, I'll hold on to it for you, all right? Because you shouldn't feel this way. Then she thinks back to what Elias said, saying your emotions make you human. Even the unpleasant ones have a purpose. If you ignore them, they just get louder and angrier. So she has these two people giving her advice and she's playing it in her head. And I feel like she's comparing both of them together. After they leave the safe house, after they happened upon these guards and they were talking to one of the scholars that they had as prisoner. They were saying that her brother is dead. So she goes into a full freak out and Keenan's like, they're probably lying. It's probably a rumor that was started. And that's what I feel. I don't think her brother is dead. If her brother is dead and Izzy's dead, we're gonna run out of people to die. I hope he's not dead. I don't think he is. Or else, what is the purpose of this series then? And then after they get away from all of them, she again starts comparing herself, saying that she misses the girl, the Laya that she was with Elias. And that's breaking my heart even more because you just slept with Keenan. Like, do you feel guilty? I feel really bad for her. So I think once she sees Elias, it's really gonna hit her what her and Keenan did. He's with the soul catcher and he just saw Izzy, but then she sent him away. But at least I feel like we're getting somewhere in that situation. Maybe he'll find a way to bring her back. The brother's not dead. The little boy that has been cleaning his wounds said that the person who screams he hears is called the artist. And of course, Elias, that clicked in his head and he said, oh yeah, it's him. He says Laya's name and he tells her to run. Okay, brother's not dead and there's hope for Izzy. We're getting somewhere. Harper just said that he's not the commandant's spy anymore, and if he was, Helene would be dead. And that's what I've been saying for a while. He said he's not her spy anymore because she told him to kill Helene once she got close to killing Elias. He said he changed sides because he needs a question answered, but he won't say what the question is. And of course I want to go to bed. I'm probably not going to find out what it is within the next 3 pages. Well, Izzy's not coming back to life, so my hope for that is out the window. But Elias did help her cross over. And she said, tell Laya I wasn't afraid and sometimes loneliness is a choice. Shinny said this author wasn't afraid to break your heart. I feel like this is just the start. I was hoping. But at least we learned the brother is alive. Izzy won't come back. And I'm gonna try and finish this tomorrow, hopefully. I have about 120 pages left. I'm gonna try and finish it today. Stephanie and I have updated each other. Jenny kind of updated me, but I think she's trying to avoid spoilers as much as possible, which is a very good thing. She told me again, when I said, okay, Izzy's for sure not coming back, she said, yeah, the author will rip your heart out. And now I'm worried about everyone else at this point. Stephanie and I went over our theories We're both confused on what's going on with the augurs and their riddles that they speak in, and she feels the same way, that we don't think she should have slept with Keenan, and that we both think that she regrets it. She said that she highlighted how it said Keenan has always had a darkness about him, which that caught my eye too. I can't decide if it's depression. My theory might be that he might want Darren out for different reasons that haven't been spoken of. She is theorizing that Cook is Laya's father's mother, so that would be Laya's paternal grandmother, and I can see it. I don't know, because it didn't really talk about her paternal side, but it might be. And then we theorized on who Cook killed to get that wound, because she said, oh, I killed an old friend right before he gave me this wound, or right after he gave me this wound. We both think that it's Maz, don't quite remember how to say his name, but him. And I had brought up to her how I said I thought the commandant was working with the resistance in disguise or something, but now we both think that it's Cook because of how she hears and knows things that she shouldn't, that maybe she's possessed Cook somehow, or like taken over her and can like hop in and out of her. And I think that's why she's stuttering, because she's fighting her presence, or she's like either trying to get out something that she really wants to say, like her genuinely wants to say, or she's trying to stop saying whatever she's about to say. And we both think there's something suspicious going on about the different stories that Elias is getting from his respective mothers, that they don't quite add up. I think that the commandant might not be his legitimate mom. I don't know. I'm still undecided, because we both don't think that his adoptive mother would lie. You can't convince me she's a liar. And she just got to the part where she found out that the brother is still alive, supposedly. We're officially at the same spot, so I'm gonna continue reading. I forgot that I had the audiobook on a different app apart from Libby, and I just started listening to it, and I have to apologize. I have been saying Darren, but according to the narrators, it is Darren. So add that to the list of my mess ups for this video. I promise it won't happen again, but I also knew a Darren spelled the same way. So that's on me for assuming. I just got to part 4, and it turns out Keenan's not a spy because he's the Nightbringer. The only thing going through my head once that was revealed, I would personally chop off my lady parts. I did what? With who? Am I safe? What does that mean for Laya? So it turns out he took form as Keenan to get Laya to fall in love with him, because he needed her armlet that she was wearing that her mother passed down to her. The reason he needs it is the star that imprisoned the djinn just exploded into a bunch of different shards, and those different shards were turned into necklaces, jewelry, swords, anything that you can think of. He needs to go around collecting all those pieces to put it back together in hopes of freeing his people. And the only way for him to get those pieces and put them back together and it to actually work is he has to get them out of love and trust. Therefore, he takes on many different shapes and forms to try and convince various people to willingly hand over those items. And she loved him to a certain extent, and in a meaningful moment handed him over the armlet, and then all of this just happened. Now we're going into part 4. Also, just realized that I've been saying commandant wrong. Commandant. Listen, I'm trying. Only a book and 2/3 to get that one right. Something did happen. Elias is in the waiting place, so that's good. No, it's not. I was really hoping that Helene would heal him, and instead he made a trade to become the next soul catcher. Marcus just murdered her whole family, besides her littlest sister. Right afterwards, he said, "Oh, I knew the whole time that they're trying to plot this war against me. But because you said it in front of everyone, I had to slaughter basically your whole family." Now he's forcing her little sister to marry him in exchange for sparing her life. Just keeps getting worse. officially finished it. I actually finished it a couple of days ago, but we went to Hollywood Horror Nights and I just didn't have time to film. I'm in shock. I like this book more than the first one, but I feel like that usually happens with series because the first one is so much world building and introducing you to the characters that you don't really get time to explore those relationships or the world. This one is pretty messed up. Elias took the deal to be the next soul catcher, so he is going in and out of the other side and current present world. Darren finally woke up. I was really worried. Me and Stephanie were like, oh my gosh, he better wake up. All of this, he needs to wake up. Marcus is looking for war secretly. He knew all along about the plan, and he definitely wants to get his retaliation. Shockingly, he hasn't touched Helene's little sister. There's kind of a mystery about what happened the night of the wedding. She doesn't really want to talk about it. We can kind of fill in the blanks, I'm assuming. But since then, she said he hasn't touched her, so that's good. I don't think he's redeemable in that aspect, but I'm hoping that he at least helps them against even worse people. And then hopefully he gets his too. Harper said him and Elias are brothers. He said that they share the same father, and his mother is aware, supposedly, that they share the same father. Elias doesn't know that, and as far as I'm aware, nobody's told Elias because Helene's not there to tell him. But that'll be very interesting, and I hope that comes to light in this third book. I haven't started it yet. I have some plans for reading this weekend, so next week I will be diving back into this series to hopefully finish it up before Air comes out, which is in like 3 days. So definitely not going to finish those 2 books in time, but hopefully within a close enough time. And I hope that you guys join me to continue the third book. I've had so much fun reading this series. I'm so upset that I waited so long to read it, but at least I'm reading it close to Air since that does take place in a similar world. I hope you guys come back for the next video. Happy reading!